felt confident, especially when compared to that first meeting I had that first year in office. We had a great plan for stabilization of government finances, and we gave them all the records and the history of previous GovCon budgets and financial statements, which were not rosy, as well as the numbers in terms of the condition of our tourism services industry, military investment in the past, and where it was going.
We had $330 million in unpaid tax refunds. That was over a multi-year period. Some of these tax refunds were 3 to 4 years delinquent paying our citizenry. Actually, I consider that a sin. It was not only did it help us in getting rid of that deficit, but it was just smart. And we were paying, we didn't have to pay the type of interest that we had been paying when we were financing it on the backs of the taxpayers.
Worked in our favor. And then as we went along through the fiscal year, I guess the community also would not tolerate any longer that the tax refunds were not being paid, or for a total deficit of over 300 billion, 258 at the time was due to tax refunds. That's how much money we kept away from the citizens. And governor's office, as well as all our fiscal offices, revenue tax, and department administration. We would have citizens coming to ask for their tax refunds for medical and emergency needs, and to the governor that was not acceptable. This is their money, and so our agenda was, top of the agenda, was to pay back tax refunds. We restructured our debt to do that, and we rated our PPT, and that was what primarily the money was used for.
Dusitani 5-star hotel opening up. It's a 30-story tower. That's going to be another 400 to 500 employees. You have another tower, another hotel that will be opening up, that will start construction next year, and that will add also hotel rooms and jobs. When you have those fairly large chunks, it adds up to a lot. And I think, how can I forget, the Latte Hotel that just opened up, that was 250 new jobs. These weren't taken into consideration when you're looking at the 10%. So we believe by next year, the labor picture in Guam will be a lot different in terms of single-digit unemployment. That is where we have to have our local people participate in it, and that is why it's so important to get the academia, the education institutions tied in with the private sector, where the government there is there to try to be the facilitator of this collaboration. The story of Guam. It's been several years where we've had this opportunity to sit down with you folks. It was important from the very beginning that we established a dialogue, and a one-on-one dialogue with myself as the chief executive of the island, because it was so important for us to tell you the story of where we were at, and you know where we've at, because Standard & Poor's has this long history of Guam, but also showing our commitment towards righting our financial ship, but also at the same time exploiting Guam's potential and fully realizing the potential. We've had an opportunity to look at some of the numbers, and whether it's 2 consecutive years of general fund surpluses, the improved budget forecasting, our improved liability management, our appropriation reserves, and ongoing monitoring, which has significantly improved cost controls. And I would like to mention, from the standpoint of what Troy mentioned about expectations, once the Pandora's box, and I'll call it Pandora's box, but once it's been opened and the people have demanded a better governance, we're going to set those parameters up. There will always be a governor, Calvo, and this administration, but we believe that we've set the bar for a democracy on expectations by the public. In the end of a democracy, you can have all the formulas there, but if the people are unwilling to accept mediocrity, which I do believe that is what has occurred, then that sets the future direction for the community no matter what the governor is or what the legislature is. Answer any other question you may have, but also looking towards you for favorable consideration in terms of a reevaluation of our credit rating and seeing whether it warrants an upgrade. We do believe it does, but again, we're here to build that trust with you, and whether we get one or not, this is a commitment by our administration that we will have this dialogue. We will give you the necessary information so that you can make decisions that you believe are correct, and you have our commitment that we will stand for transparency, good governance, and a belief that Guam's best days lies ahead.
Things are happening, both in terms of an administration and a government that has taken control of itself, in terms of its financial condition, has organized itself and reprioritized its assets and its resources to critical and core services in education, health, and safety, and then is poised for even greater economic growth that will lead to many different positive aspects. Again, going back to the fundamentals, we're not spending more than we take in. We're stabilizing the economy. We're paying past due obligations, not only in vendor payables, but in commitments made to our GovGuam workers, to our taxpayers, and to many other constituents. Some of these have go back 20 years, and the credit rating agencies see this. And they see the progress.